My name is Miss Abby, and I'm the Youth Services Manager at the New Albany-Floyd County Public Library. You will find me sometimes in the children's room and sometimes in the teen scene, and I like reading all kinds of things, but I especially like reading nonfiction and realistic fiction.
Hi, my name's Amanda Harris, and I'm one of the children's librarians at the New Albany-Floyd County Public Library. And I want to start by telling you a little bit about me. I've been working at the library for over 17 years. I love what I do here. I love working with kids and teens, and I love sharing books with people. And some of the books that I love to read are the scary ones, so the scarier the better.
Hi, I'm Steven. I work in the teen department here at the library. I like all kinds of books, but my favorite kinds are graphic novels, adventure stories, and really any book that's really old.
The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier. The Night Gardener is a story about two siblings, Molly and Kip. And they were traveling with their parents, but disaster struck at sea, and now Molly and Kip are on their own. They desperately need a place to stay, they need food to eat, they need work to earn their keep. But the problem is that nobody will hire two kids that are on their own with no references. Nobody except the Windsors. The Windsors live in a huge mansion in the middle of the Sour Woods, a place that everybody says is too dangerous to go. In fact, nobody will give Molly and Kip directions how to get there, because they say that the Sour Woods is a bad place and nobody should ever go there. But finally Molly and Kip make their way to the Sour Woods and they find the Windsor mansion and they start their work, Molly as a maid and Kip as a groundskeeper. But before too long they know that there is something wrong in the Windsor house. First, there is this tree, this giant tree that grows so close to the house that some of the branches actually grow inside the walls. And it's really weird because normally if there was that big of a tree beside your house, you would cut it down. It's not safe to have a tree that close to your house. But for some reason, no one has ever cut this tree down. And then there are the nightmares. Everyone in the Windsor house has terrible nightmares every night. And when Molly starts sleeping in the Windsor house, she starts having terrifying nightmares too. And then there are the muddy footprints. Every morning, Molly finds muddy footprints all over the house, even though she cleaned up those footprints the day before. And the thing is, Molly can't figure out who's leaving the footprints because the size of the footprints don't match the size of the feet of anyone in the house. There is something wrong in the Windsor mansion, and Molly and Kip will have to figure out what it is in order to save themselves and the Windsors from the Night Gardener.
Today, the book that I'm going to be talking about is called The Great Green Heist by Varian Johnson. Jackson Greene has swagger. He's cool and totally comfortable in his own skin. And everyone knows Jackson in the halls of Maplewood Middle School. And though he's reformed, you can sense Jackson's new leaf hasn't been turned over permanently. He's on a slippery slope as far as scheming goes, and given the right motivation, he might get his hands dirty again, especially when his buddy Charlie de la Cruz comes to ask for Jackson's help. Charlie's twin sister Gabby, Jackson's former love interest, is running for school president, and Charlie wants to make sure that she gets elected. At first, Jackson turns him down, but the more he learns, the deeper he gets, and now Jackson is masterminding the Great Green Heist. To pull off a great heist, you need a good crew, which means Jackson Greene would need to pull together a variety of characters. But is it worth it? Does he have the energy and willingness to pull off this crazy scheme? If you like a good school story or something with a little adventure and a little bit of humor, then you won't want to miss this book, The Great Green Heist by Varian Johnson.
So this is one of my favorite books that came out this year, and I've actually read it quite a few times already. It's called The Nameless City by Erin Hicks, and it's a graphic novel, so while I'm telling you about it, I'm going to show you what it looks like. The Nameless City tells the story of Kaidu, or Kai as his friends call him, if he had any friends. Like the other teenage boys in his homeland, he's traveled to the city of Dandao to train to be a soldier and to meet his father, General Andrin, whom he's never really known. It doesn't take him very long, though, to find out that he's not really very good at being a soldier and doesn't really like it. So when his dad shows up during training and offers to give him a tour of the city and get him out of class, he jumps at the opportunity. Kai soon falls in love with the city of Dandao, and especially with its delicious food, but soon learns that not everyone in the city is happy. The people of Dandao live in poverty and hate the people of Dao who conquered and rule over them. Kai experiences this firsthand when he sneaks out of training the next day and meets a street urchin called Rat. When Rat steals the knife that Kai's father gave him, Kai tries to get it back. He chases her across the rooftops of the city, but when she makes a fantastic leap across a wide canal, Kai realizes he has no chance of getting his father's gift back. But through some fast thinking and a little luck, he manages to get ahead of her and catch her. Impressed since no one has ever caught her before, Rat agrees to teach Kai how to run like she does if he'll bring her food. The two spend their days racing across the rooftops of the city, but meanwhile tensions between the Dao and the people of the city have reached their breaking point, and it just might be up to these two unlikely friends to save the city they both love. So, if you're a fan of thrilling adventure stories or tales of friendship, maybe you like Amulet or Avatar the Last Airbender or Bigfoot Boy, then check out The Nameless City by Erin Hicks.
The Port Chicago 50 by Steve Sheinkin. This is a true story set during World War II. And during World War II, the armed forces were segregated. So that means that if you were African American, you could join the Navy, but you wouldn't be doing the same jobs that the white sailors would be doing. African American sailors had to do the worst jobs, the grunt work. They cleaned, they washed dishes, they loaded ships, and at Port Chicago, which is in California, they loaded ammunition and explosives onto ships. That was their job. They were given no training in how to handle explosive materials. And worse than that, even in this very dangerous job, the white officers kept insisting that they go faster and faster. They kept giving them these quotas to meet and making them load the ammunition faster and faster and faster. It was a recipe for disaster. And one day, disaster struck. There was a terrible explosion at Port Chicago. 300 men were killed. Many more were injured. The entire pier at Port Chicago was completely destroyed. And after that happened, after they cleaned up, they rebuilt the pier, they were ready to get back to work, the African American sailors were expected to go back to the exact same jobs they had had before. They were still expected to load ammunition and explosives onto the ships. They were still expected to go very fast, even though they had still not been provided any training how to handle explosives, even though it was still a very dangerous job. And some of the men said no. They said they were willing to do any job that their officers asked them to do, but they would not load explosives onto the ships. It was too dangerous, they were scared to do it. They knew that if they were forced to do this again, it was going to result in another explosion. So some of these men said no. 50 men at Port Chicago, they stood up and they said they weren't going to do it. And the Navy accused them of mutiny. When you don't follow an officer's order in the Navy, then that is mutiny. And mutiny carries a possible death sentence. But still, these men stood up for what they believed was right. They stood up against injustice and they said no. This is a riveting, true story brought to life by the voices and photos of the men who lived through it. If you like disaster stories, if you like stories about civil rights, if you like learning about true things that happened in our history that you may not really know a lot about, then pick up The Port Chicago 50 by Steve Sheinkin.
Today, I decided to bring with me a book called The Nightmarys by Dan Poblocki. Do you love scary books or movies? Have you ever heard of the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? Normally, we don't like to do that. But in this case, today, I would like you to judge this book by its cover. These are the Nightmarys, and they're dying to meet you. What are your greatest fears? heights, snakes, spiders, maybe even clowns. Imagine if you were being taunted by your worst fears in your own town, in your own home, even in your own bedroom almost every night. That's exactly what 7th grader Timothy July and his new friend Abigail are experiencing. In this spooky tale set in New Starkham, Massachusetts, two friends try to break a curse that are bringing their greatest fears to life. Will they save the town? Will they survive? Does this sound scary enough for you? If so, you won't want to miss this book, and that is The Nightmarys by Dan Poblocki. If you also love scary books, Dan Poblocki has many more scary tales, and so we have tons of copies of these books. Please come see us at the library to check them out, or check with your school library to see if they have copies as well. Thanks for listening today. Until next time.
Thanks so much for listening today. I hope that you heard about a book that sounded good to you. If you did, remember that you can check out all of these books for free at the new Albany-Floyd County Public Library. If you didn't hear about a book today that you really thought you would like, then I want you to still come down and see us at the library, because we're happy to help you find any kind of book that you would like to read. And if you don't have a library card, remember that you can get a free new Albany-Floyd County Library card. Just come down to the library anytime that the library is open. Make sure that you have a parent or guardian with you to sign for your card, and we'll get you all set up. So thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you at the library.